Good afternoon and welcome to the Journyx Customer Training Webinar, Taking Time Off in Journyx. My name is Erin McCaffrey and I'll be your host for today's webinar. We know that your time is valuable and we hope that you leave today's webinar with useful timesheet knowledge. Just to let you know, you can expand the screen for better viewing using the percent icon in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You can submit questions online anytime during the presentation via the Questions tab. I'll be collecting these as the presentation goes forward and reading them at the end during our Q&A time. If we don't get to your question in the Q&A portion, we will take note of your question and answer it following the webinar. Everyone will receive a follow-up email containing a link to these questions and answers, as well as a recording of the webinar. After the webinar, you will have the opportunity to complete a survey. This survey will provide us with feedback that we can use to improve future training webinars. We want to ensure that we're providing you with the knowledge necessary to be successful with Journyx. At this time, I'm going to hand the webinar over to Brian Maxson.
Thanks, Erin. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Brian Maxson, and I'm your account manager for Journyx. I probably know most of you. So thank you for coming. What I'm going to do is walk us through the process of taking time off in Journyx. Just for the agenda for today, we've sort of gone through the introductions. I'm going to first start off by showing you how to track leave time in Journyx. Then I'll review what we call our leave request features. I'll also cover how to track leave accruals and calculate those. And then, as Erin mentioned just previously, we've got some time set aside at the end to do some question and answers. So feel free to submit those questions through the GoToMeeting panel, and we'll answer those questions during that session. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the application. You guys are probably familiar with the screen. It looks similar to this. This is just a login screen for the Journyx application. I'm going to log in as an end user, or somebody who would have the ability to track time in the application. And this is probably our most commonly used type of time entry screen. And you guys are probably well aware that you have the ability to track time on projects and tasks and things like that. For tracking time off, the first and probably simplest way to do that is most of our customers will create a project called admin overhead or something along those lines, so that when they pick that particular project, it will display a pay type of sick day, vacation, PTO, whatever, however you classify that within the application. So in this particular case, let's say I was going to take tomorrow off for vacation. I can pick that from the drop-down menu, record 8 hours, and hit the Save button. So that's the simple way to do it, just directly within the timesheet of the application. In addition to that, we do give you the ability to request time off in advance. Above the timesheet, we have a link that says Leave Request. We also have a tab for leave within the navigation menus. I will go through here and say that I want to create a leave request. And this will take me to my leave request management screen, where I can pick the particular date or date range that I'm looking for. Let's say I want to extend that one-day vacation into 2 days and take Friday off as well. Then I can go ahead and request vacation, and I can submit that request to my manager. Now, there are two options. This can either follow the approval process that you use for your timesheets, or you can provide the end users with a list of managers to pick from to be able to submit their leave request to. If they, once they submit the leave request, there are email notifications that you can choose to use that will notify the approver that somebody is submitting a leave request. You can embed the link to the software that will take you right to the leave request. It works a lot like the approval process does from an email notification standpoint. I'm going to go ahead and submit this request, and again, that would generate an email, if I have that turned on, for my manager to go ahead and review that. And as we'll see in a second, that manager has the ability to approve or decline that request. If they approve the leave request, it will actually go ahead and populate that time onto my timesheet so that I don't have to enter that for a second time. It will populate that as a saved time entry so that if I did request it and it was approved, I can always change that to regular time if, for example, I had to come in and do some work for one reason or another. But as long as I don't have to change that, it just prevents me from having to go in there and enter the time twice. So from an end user perspective, those are really the two ways that you can record or track time out of the office. From this user interface, I also wanted to make you aware that we have the ability to display an employee's accrual balance on their timesheet. So in this particular case, I've got 16 hours of sick day and 24 hours of vacation time. The type there that says hard, there's a difference there. A hard accrual will not allow you to go into a negative balance. A soft accrual will allow you to go into a negative balance, but you will receive a warning message, and so will your approver when they go to approve your timesheet that tells them that Brian is into a negative balance for a specific accrual. And we'll get into how those accruals can be calculated and put into the system as we log in as an administrator. But again, in summary, from an end user perspective, you can either record your time out of the office directly within the timesheet. You can request that time off in advance through the leave request. And at any point in time, a user can view their real-time balance for those accruals by just hovering their mouse over their accrual link. One other note on that, as I track time in the application, it will deduct that balance in real time. So if I were to change this to 12 hours of vacation, for example, that accrual balance should drop down to 20. And there you go. All right, well, I'm going to log out as an end user, and I'm going to log in actually as an administrator so we can see some of the functions that are available from a managerial or administrative perspective around this leave tracking. Sticking with the leave request features, I had submitted a leave request which basically tells you can see I've got one leave request awaiting my attention. You can see there's one that's pending. So that's one way to navigate to that. Another way is we have this leave calendar. And the leave calendar basically allows you to look at either by day, month, week, whatever period that you're looking for. And it will provide you with a listing of all of the leave requests that have been submitted to you for approval. I'm not sure if you guys can see the color coordination here, but if a request is declined, it's in red color. If it's approved, it's green. And if it's still pending, you can see that that is in black. And basically this calendar is put in place to make sure that, for example, you've got enough coverage on a particular day. If I've got 5 or 6 people requesting time off on Friday, maybe I can't allow all of those people to take that time off on that day. So I'm clicking on Friday. You can see this one's already been approved. The request that I just submitted for approval is sitting here, and I could check that and approve or decline that request. If I was going to decline that request, I can put a reason for declining that request in this text box. And when I hit the decline button, that will appear both in the employee's leave request management screen and also in an email that you can send back to the employee when you approve or decline their leave request. As far as creating or establishing an accrual balance for employees, there are really 3 ways to do that. The first way is to go through your management screen, users, and accruals, and you can actually manipulate these accrual balances manually. So I'm just going to go to myself and click my name, and you can see here are those 2 accrual balances that I've got available to me. I could modify them here. I could create a new type of balance here as well. And so this is one way to be able to update and manage those accrual balances. Another option would be to import that balance. We have an accrual calculation import. which basically is just one of our standard import tools that would allow you to manage those balances in an Excel spreadsheet and then periodically either manually browse and upload that file or schedule that import to run as often as need be, whether that be by pay period, once a month, once a year, just depending on what your rules are. The other methodology that we have is through a tool that we have called the accrual calculator tool. And this tool allows you to build different tiers of rules. For example, this particular tier that I've created for vacation will give me 40 hours of vacation time every time the tool is run. Again, you can run this tool manually. You can schedule it to run as often as necessary. But this allows you to really build some pretty complex accrual calculation rules that include carryover limits and company anniversary dates, employee hire dates, and things like that. This is sort of the more automated fashion. So if you wanted to set up all of your accrual rules to run automatically in Journyx, you can create these tiers and then go to your tools import section and again schedule that tool to run as often as needed, per pay period, per month, per year. And that really could automate all of the calculation of your accrual balances for your employees to see on their timesheet. Again, in review from an administrative or managerial standpoint, you can manage the leave balances either through the management section or through the leave calendar. And then you have the ability to update employee accrual balances either manually through the user interface, through an accrual import of Excel spreadsheet, or through the accrual calculator module that we offer as an add-on to Journyx. And at this point, those were the main features that I wanted to cover, both from a user perspective and a manager administrative perspective on how to track time off in Journyx. So at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to back to Erin to see if we have any questions that we can answer during our question and answer section.
Thanks, Brian. I'm now going to start the Q&A portion of our presentation. So if you do have any questions, just go ahead and submit them via the questions tab. We do have one question right now, and our question comes from Angela, and she asks, is there a way for the leave request to populate the Outlook calendar as well as the Journyx timesheet?
All right, that's a great question, and actually a very popular feature request. Currently, it does not automatically populate the calendar in Outlook or any of your other mail clients. It would only be interactive through the actual Journyx user interface and the leave calendar that you saw directly within Journyx. It would not show up within Outlook.
Well, at this time we don't have any other questions, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up our Q&A portion. If you do have any questions that you think of here in the future, you can always email Brian Maxon or Journyx support. Their contact information is on the screen. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you gained useful knowledge from this training webinar. We will be hosting a new training webinar on the second Wednesday of each month at 2:00 p.m. Central Time. Please visit the Journyx user community for a listing of all upcoming webinars with registration links. All webinars are recorded and will be archived in the user community forever. You will receive a link to the recording in a follow-up email. There will be a survey available for you to fill out at the end of the webinar. Your feedback is valuable to us. Again, thanks for joining us and have a great day.